Have you ever felt like something inside you is holding you back, like an invisible force sabotaging your dreams, your relationships, your peace? A part of you that whispers doubts when you're on the verge of success, that lashes out in anger when you least expect it, that feels shame for desires you don't dare admit. What if I told you this isn't a flaw, it's a doorway? Carl Jung called it the shadow, the hidden, rejected, unacknowledged parts of yourself. And until you face it, you'll stay lost, wandering in circles, repeating the same mistakes, never quite understanding why. Imagine walking through a forest at night, holding a lantern. The light reveals only what's directly in front of you, but just beyond its glow, shapes move in the darkness. You quicken your pace, pretending not to see them. Yet the faster you walk, the louder the rustling becomes. That's the shadow. It's what you refuse to see in yourself, the traits you deny, the emotions you suppress, the truths you've buried. And here's the paradox. The more you ignore it, the more it controls you. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Think about that. How much of your life has been dictated by reactions you didn't understand, attractions that confused you, rage that felt foreign? What if these weren't random outbursts, but messages from a part of you screaming to be heard? The shadow isn't your enemy. It's your disowned power, your untapped potential, the voice you silenced because someone once told you it was wrong. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt a surge of envy? Not the passing flicker, but the kind that knots your stomach. Who was it toward? And what does that say about what you've denied in yourself? Envy is a mirror. It shows you what you crave but dare not claim. The shadow doesn't hide in your darkness. It hides in your reactions, in the people who trigger you, in the qualities you judge most harshly in others. Take a moment. Picture someone you deeply dislike. What traits repel you? Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Those traits live in you too, not always in action, but in potential. The tyrant you despise. You have his will, the victim you pity. You have her helplessness, the flirt you scorn. You have their hunger. We hate what we fear in ourselves, and that hatred keeps us fractured, at war, exhausted. But what if you stopped running? What if you turned toward the shadow? Not to surrender to it, but to reclaim what you exiled. Because here's the secret. The shadow isn't just your wounds. It's your magnetism, your creativity, your raw, untamed vitality. Every part of you that's been shamed, hidden, or abandoned. It's all energy. Energy that could be fueling your life instead of haunting it. Think of a time you surprised yourself. Maybe you snapped at a loved one, or indulged a desire you shouldn't have, or felt a thrill when someone else failed. That discomfort, that's the shadow knocking, and most of us spend our lives nailing the door shut. We numb it with busyness, drown it in positivity, bury it under spirituality, but it doesn't die. It metastasizes into depression, into addiction, into a life that feels like it's being lived by someone else. So let me ask you directly, what are you refusing to see about yourself? What version of you feels too dangerous to acknowledge? The selfish one, the arrogant one, the needy one, the cruel one, the one that likes the chaos, the one that enjoys the pain. Until you face these parts, they will bleed into everything. Your relationships, your career, your self-worth. This isn't about indulging every impulse. It's about seeing them, about pulling them into the light where you can finally choose, because integration, not expulsion, is the path. Jung didn't say destroy the shadow. He said befriend it. To do that, you must stop pretending you're only light, only good, only spiritual. You are human. And humanity is messy, glorious, terrifying, divine. Now let's go deeper. Because the shadow isn't just personal, it's collective. It's the reason societies collapse, the reason wars begin, the reason we destroy what we claim to love. And it all starts with one unexamined life at a time. Yours, mine. So consider this. What if your deepest shame is actually your greatest gift? What if the part of you that feels unlovable is the exact part that could teach you real love? What if the rage you fear is the energy you need to set boundaries? The selfishness you deny is the self-respect you've been missing. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to complete you. But first, you must stop pretending it doesn't exist. You must turn toward the darkness, not with fear, but with curiosity, with the lantern of awareness, and say, "Show me what you've been trying to say." This is just the beginning, because once you face the shadow, everything changes. The masks start to crack, the illusions dissolve, and what emerges isn't a perfect you, but a whole you. But before we go further, tell me this. What part of your shadow are you most afraid to face? And what might happen if you stopped running? Like and subscribe if this resonates. There's so much more to uncover. Now, let's explore how the shadow shapes your relationships, because nothing reveals your hidden self like the people you attract and repel. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to haunt your life? The controlling boss, the needy friend, the distant lover. Like ghosts wearing different masks, they reappear in new forms, dragging you into the same old battles. What if these aren't coincidences, but reflections, projections of the very parts of yourself you refuse to acknowledge? Jung warned us. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Think about that. The qualities you judge most harshly in others are often the ones you've exiled within yourself. The partner you accuse of being too clingy. You fear your own need for love. The colleague you call arrogant. You suppress your own ambition. The friend who plays the victim. You deny your own helplessness. This is the shadow at work, an unconscious game of hide and seek where you disown parts of yourself, only to collide with them in the outside world. Like a magnet, you attract people who embody what you won't face, and then you resent them for it. But here's the painful truth. They're not the problem. Your avoidance is. Let me ask you this. Who in your life triggers you the most? What do they represent that you've refused to claim? Because until you do, you'll keep drawing them in. Like a recurring dream you can't wake up from. Ever been drawn to someone who feels dangerously familiar? Like you've known them forever, even though they're bad for you. That's not chemistry, it's shadow recognition. Your unconscious seeks completion, so if you've spent your life being the good girl, you'll crave the rebel. If you've always been the responsible one, you'll lust after the free spirit, not because they're right for you, but because they carry the energy you've denied in yourself. But here's the trap. You don't integrate the shadow this way. You just become its prisoner, chasing people who seem to have what you lack, when really you're just outsourcing your wholeness. So ask yourself, what do my past lovers have in common? And what does that say about the part of me I've refused to own? The silent war of relationships. How the shadow sabotages love. Every relationship has an invisible third partner, the unhealed parts of you that whisper doubts, stir chaos, and replay old wounds. Ever lashed out at someone you love, then wondered, where did that come from? That's your shadow taking the wheel? Or maybe you've done the opposite, swallowed your anger to keep the peace, only to grow cold and distant. That's the shadow too. Passive, repressed, leaking out in silence instead of fire. Jung called this projection, the act of dumping your unconscious material onto others. And it's the reason most relationships fail, not because of incompatibility, but because two people keep fighting ghosts instead of facing themselves. The way out isn't to blame others, or to manifest better people. It's to withdraw your projections, to take back what you've disowned. Here's how. Identify your triggers. Who makes you irrationally angry, jealous, or insecure? What does that reveal about what you've suppressed? Own your repulsions. The traits you hate in others exist in you too, not as actions but as potential. Admit them. Stop spiritual bypassing. You can't love and light your way out of the shadow. You must meet it in all its mess. This isn't easy. It means admitting you're not just the hero of your story, but the villain too, the coward, the liar, the one capable of cruelty. But here's the magic. When you stop running from these truths, your relationships shift, the toxic patterns dissolve, because you're no longer feeding them with your denial. The most dangerous shadows aren't the dark ones, but the ones disguised as virtue. The people pleaser who secretly resents everyone they help. The spiritual seeker who uses enlightenment to avoid their humanity. The perfectionist who crushes others with their high standards. Your shadow isn't just what you hate about yourself. It's also what you pride yourself on, taken to extremes. So ask yourself, where am I too good? Where does my identity as the kind one, the wise one, the strong one, actually mask a deeper fear? Because until you see it, you'll keep hurting people and calling it righteousness. The way forward, from repetition to revelation. This isn't about blaming yourself, it's about freeing yourself.